All right. What's good, what's great, and what's going on, everybody? Y'all must not have heard me. I said, what's good?
What's great?
What's going on?
Coming at you guys with another episode live. The Garage Podcast, episode 13. Give it up.
Yeah.
Now, today we are obviously not in the Garage Pod, or we're obviously are the Garage Pod, but we're not in the garage for the podcast this episode. We are in the Canvas Barbershop.
Canvas.
Yes,
Canvas.
Yes, sir. Let's give it up one time for Canvas, as a matter of fact. And today what we're doing is we're helping out a local business down here in Riverside and giving them a little spotlight because you know what? They deserve it. And without any further introduction, let me introduce you guys to the man of the hour himself, Mr. J. How you doing, sir?
Good.
You doing
Thank
good? You looking good, man?
Appreciate it.
Great looking shirt, guys. Great looking shirt. Make sure you guys check him out.
Always repping.
Come pick one up. Now, you guys got a little bit of an event going on, right? What's popping with that?
Actually, this weekend we have our 9-year anniversary. It's called the Mullet, and the mullet. The reason we named it the Mullet is because it's a hairstyle, and we are a barbershop. And then the saying that's attached to that hairstyle is business in the front, party in the back.
In the back, yeah.
So that's what we do. We actually, our business is in the front. The really big party is in the back, and it's a community event. We try to we have so many customers from everywhere in our city. All of the barbers are from our city. And so we like to once a year celebrate our anniversary, but then also give an event for the city to come and shake a tail feather.
That's super dope, man.
I will be shaking my tail feather there.
My God.
100%. And at this event, we 100% do have a Garage Pod family performing.
Yeah.
Omad, Mr.
Hey,
Domo.
me myself. Ain't nobody clap. Ain't nobody gonna clap for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm not going to clap now. I was going to do it before. But now that you asked for it.
Like
but
that.
No, yeah.
that's what's up. So tell me a little bit more about this event. Who's going to be there? Is it local people?
Again,
or?
Yeah.
Better? There we go. Okay. So it's going to be a lot of, like I said, our clients. The city is going to be there. So with that, like to me, that's the most important thing because without the city, our day-to-day clients, people that actually come support the shop, then we wouldn't be here 9 years. So every year really is always about the people. We try to really throw a really big event for the people. Fortunately enough, a good turnout is we always have a really good turnout at our events, and that spawns from the local boxers to local politicians to people that that you actually wouldn't expect to be here show up in support of what we do for the community. And the reason why, for me, I feel like Canvas for a barbershop, that name kind of throws people off a lot.
Of course.
But really, Canvas is for the art. That's what we represent.
Heck
so
yeah.
Not just our art. First of all, we are artists as barbers, but then not just our art, but painters, dancers, musicians, writers, anybody that is artistic and creative. That's what we represent here at the shop. Boxers. That takes a lot of skill and movement and technique. So all of those things are artistic. And a lot of the times we don't really, in our communities, we don't support the arts like we should.
Nowhere near as much.
They say sometimes, you don't get the credit until you die. So we like to celebrate all the artists as they're coming up.
Got to give them their
when
flowers
they're hot,
now.
and even when they die down. So that's what Canvas really represents here in the community of Riverside. We really support the artist, and Canvas is for the art. We love the kids. We love all of the people that are bringing more and representing the community and putting themselves out there artistically.
That's super dope, man. That's amazing.
Hey, they gonna have food vendors?
Oh man,
I'm gonna be hungry.
No, so actually,
Shoot.
that's actually one of the really big things that draws people is.
Oh, hold up.
We have chefs that are local, but they kind of compete with each other. Okay. Nobody knows what each other's making.
Ooh, secret menus.
Secret menus.
Ooh.
From what I hear, there's going to be a lot of fusion food there this weekend. So
a lot of different cultures, very ethnic.
Yes, very ethnic, very different, multicultural, and a lot of variety. So yeah, food is going to be on deck. Mm-hmm. Performances, obviously, you're going to kill.
Yes.
Introduce is performing. Local artist named Jules Carson is performing. We have a lot of people who've never performed coming to perform for their first time. And in front of family and friends, this is a really good opportunity to kind of be relaxed at your first show.
Of course.
Then we bring the kids. So this is a lot of the kids' first time even seeing a show. So, you know, it kind of like introduces you to the music, to the arts, to all of the things that you might not know if you weren't present.
100%.
So just giving the community an opportunity again to like support the art and showcase the talent.
What day is that again? For the people?
October 13th,
October 13th.
October
Sunday.
13th. Look out for it. Look out for it.
the mullet.
The mullet.
9.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Party
You know
in
what
the
it is.
back.
You know what it is. That's what's up.
Canvas.
Canvas. Yeah, that was dope.
Yes,
Yeah, that was dope. Now, as a barbershop, you guys are often looked at as the cornerstone of the community, right?
Yeah, oh, we are though.
100%. Oh, 100%.
So we kind of take, most barbershops take that on. Like we understand what the barbershop means. Once you get and you establish yourself as a barber, even early on, what it takes to become a barber, there's a lot of schooling involved. And we don't just know how to cut your hair. You know, everybody thinks it's just a haircut, but it's a lot more detail. We actually know so much more about you. We're shaping your face. We're doing so much to you to design you correctly, even though we kind of just mask it by just cutting hair. So yes, we feel like that's first and foremost. And then as far as the community, the barbershop has always been a cornerstone because every man in the community has to come to a barbershop.
Everybody look nice.
Every man. And so coming to the barbershop has then established different walks of life, whether you do real estate or or a gardener, you know, you actually can meet here. You know, it's an opportunity to meet here and to meet your future business partners here. And we have a lot of business meetings happen here because people are comfortable here.
Yo, that's super dope. And as people think of you as the cornerstone of the community, they do tend to forget sometimes that you're a business. You know,
Correct.
Like you guys are business owners. All of our shout out to everybody who runs a barbershop or runs a small business out in America because it's a lot tougher than it seems. I'm a small business owner myself. What can you kind of give to expand upon that for
you know
your
what
perspective?
I say for me in anything, I like to tell people to do your research. So if you're an expert in an area, then that helps you actually really succeed like in that area, whatever you're an expert in. So if I'm an expert in barbering and cutting hair. I've started when I was really young and became an expert. And so the likelihood of my business succeeding was high because I went into something that I knew. So do your research. Don't say, don't change what you're doing right now to go pursue something different and open a business in something that you don't know because you'll lose to the people that know that business. Not to say don't, but I'm just saying it's a lot harder. So I say do your research. Become an expert. Be prepared to fail because failure is that's the preparation for your success.
Ooh, say that one more time.
One more.
Be prepared to fail because your failure is actually preparing you for your success.
How many like encounters with failure did you have, or like any like big ones that you like remember?
No, all the time. Like life is just for me a bundle of failures.
Damn. No, I get you.
But at the same time, to be here now, obviously I'm learning from the fails, from the falls. So ultimately that's what it is. If you don't see how to grow from your falls or when you fail, then you're not growing.
Oh, 100%.
So ultimately it's reevaluating, not doing or actually implementing whatever change needs for growth. And so I'm okay with failing. You know, I know I'm going to fail even a few more times or hundreds more times in the future.
He's still failing.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm failing now.
Exactly. Me too.
This is failure.
failing.
You know,
Garage
we'll talk about
podcast,
my
we
success
fail
when it's over.
Hey, talk about it.
But right now I'm failing, so watch me fail. You know what I'm saying? To all my haters, you're right. We're failing.
You did it.
Exactly.
Yo, that is super dope. And you know who that reminds me a lot of, honestly, is Tyler Perry. And he's been doing amazing things in like the news this week because of the incredibly big contribution he's made, not only for the industry of like film and recording itself with what he's done with his studio, but also for just our culture. You know, been able to give a broader, not even broader, but a much more positive outlook on somebody who was at one point homeless and now has made himself to having the biggest studio, bigger than I think it was the Disney Studios, the WB Warner Brothers Studios, as well as one other major one that is evading my mind right now. One more time. Universal. There it is. Yes. Bigger than all three of those combined.
The biggest studio.
Combined. Yes, I like your reactions.
Combined.
But like, how does seeing something like that make you feel as like somebody who's spent a lot of time in community and seen a lot of people who may have started from where he started at?
I really commend Tyler Perry for his success and his commitment to building his dream.
Yeah,
I believe the things that he's accomplished, you can tell, were always in his mind. They were always in his scope, and he just went about doing it. Never stopped making shows, never stopped making movies, wasn't content with the size of his lot at the time, which was already Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then he went bigger and better and even more so. So I really am not only impressed but inspired by Tyler Perry. And so it's again, to let anybody that is striving for independence and success as an entrepreneur, you have to always dream big. You know, like you have to dream bigger than when you start. Your starting point is just that. That's your starting point. You know, even for myself, I remember when I started actually pursuing having a shop, I worked in the back of a salon called Phenomenal Woman. Okay? So to even get guys to come to a shop called Phenomenal Woman, I had to use reverse psychology.
Oh, you was cutting out the shit.
And let them know. Yeah, I let them know. Nothing but phenomenal women here.
It was like phenomenal.
You might want to come get your hair cut at my shop.
It.
There's nothing but phenomenal women at this shop. And that actually played in my favor to where, you know, then in building clients from that one room expanded to more of the shop, a bigger portion of the shop, and then eventually my own shop, which now we're in an even bigger shop from there. So that's 3 or 4 steps later, you know, and like I said, even continuing to fail now, we're going to go bigger than this.
What is it? What does bigger look like to you? Like,
bigger just really means being able to reach. For me, like right now, doesn't even mean size. It just means my reach.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, my reach. Like, I really want more reach to be able to actually touch and talk to people so that they don't have to make the same mistakes that I've made in the past, if we can have a conversation to dead that. Mm-hmm. Because I know a couple conversations would have led me in directions or paths that I might not have taken just from having a conversation or having the right person speak to me and actually help me change what was on my mind.
That's all it takes.
Right. And so with that, it's like now being able to reach people and then someone actually talking and listening to you, whether you change their direction or not, you might change their perspective, which then you don't know how that butterfly effect works. Yeah. But ultimately, for me now, bigger and better is just reach, you know, and being able to talk to more people, communicate effectively, and then actually be looked at as someone who might have value. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at personally right now.
Well, y'all got value, that's for sure. Y'all got the value. And I'll be the first one to vouch and say that I remember coming in here, getting cut, and just like it was a place like we got to know each other over a certain amount of time. But it was literally somebody I could talk to and say, yeah, I'm going through this, and every time he spoke with me, just some encouraging words, very knowledgeable. Like it was more than just getting my cut. Like it made it dope.
Right, and I mean. Yeah, off top. That's true. That's actually
facts.
It's family, and that's what we take on. At least for sure here, all of the barbers that work at Canvas, it won't even work for you if you don't want to commit to actually divulging into the community and being a part of lives and talking it out. And you know, hey, yeah, I went to your football game, and you might want to look at another sport.
You might not got that.
That might not be for you, man. Yeah, I see. You know,
I'm just saying.
The
way you run, it's not.
No, but honestly, critiquing even with with the champ, my boy Jose Lopez, like win, lose or draw, we see Jose weekly. and we build weekly and we talk, and it's family, and there's so many people that come that we've created a family-like atmosphere to where we actually understand, like Dom and I, what's going on.
Exactly.
And I can actually update with Dom. We can actually catch up on what's going on. So that's really important. And I feel like even with us talking and building, like, we're new, our friendship is new,
Of course.
but it's almost like we've known each other for a long time.
For years and years.
Very comfortable with each other. And hopefully I'm giving that off. You definitely give that off. I definitely feel all the staff that is working with the Garage Podcast, and like, that's also the same environment that we try to protrude out to the city here at Canvas.
Yeah, man. Family and community, that's all we can look to really cultivate here. And I know we spoke a little bit on the topic of where do we go next, and that kind of leads me into what I was getting ready to ask you, which is the subject of generational wealth. I know we spoke a little bit about that when we first met, but how do you view generational wealth, not only being a small business owner, but I believe you're a father, correct, as well,
yes,
right?
I have 2 sons, Micah and Seth. Also, just being a mentor to the community, even myself, like I said, learning as I learn, you start to learn that the moment you get a job is the day you are supposed to be saving for retirement. Okay, your first day on the job is the first day that you save for retirement. And usually it's opposite. We wait to actually have an epiphany before we start putting money away. Whereas the sooner the better, the faster then the faster. The earlier you can retire, the earlier you can get off the slave and actually pursue what you want in your life. So for me, I think that handing down something to someone who understands what they're getting, not just handing it down, but handing it down to someone who understands, and then creating that is actually what our new focus should be as a community. And there's so many things, from real estate to even IRAs to, there's so many things at your local bank that if you go sit down with the managers and or the personal representatives at your bank, they'll tell you about programs that instead of buying Jordans, you can put your money into and actually flip your money way harder than a Jordan will. There's
At the bank?
At the bank.
Wells Fargo.
At your bank.
That's what I bank with.
At Wells Fargo, no plug. All banks.
Yeah, at any bank.
At
Let's
any
go with
bank,
that.
there's programs to help you actually start saving, start building your retirement, and become, actually set yourself up. Even with art, I know that Jay-Z has been more recently letting the community know how important art has been in his financial boost.
I just sold some artwork for $1 million.
Right.
A couple years later, that shit worth $2 million. Few years later, that shit worth $8 million.
Yeah, now he went 128. He did the 128 on us.
He didn't go to 3 or 4. No, he went straight to 8.
No, but the thing is that, and with that, so art is very important. Art is very important. I know for myself, I have an artist that actually helps curate the shop, Nicholas Mayfield. And Nicholas, I've watched him go from stick figures to selling out art galleries to winning LA Fashion Week, Show of the Week. Yes, this is actually some of the art that's behind us.
Yeah, we'll get a shot in there. We'll have it edited in.
So shout out to my boy Nick and Area Mike, who also is another local artist that always brings their work through the canvas. And I say this because they have been bringing it through even before they were where they are now. And if you look both of these guys up, you'll see that they're established artists, and pieces that you, back in the day, they couldn't give them to you for $35. Now you can't buy for $300, $400 already. So, imagine, if you had $35 4 or 5 years ago, that would have got you a piece that now is worth $500 or $600 on the market. So art is another way, and support your local artists. There's also so many different real estate investment things that, like, even if you're in a community, California is outrageous right now as far as prices. But if you look at places that have already that are in the making for gentrification, then you'll find value there, because honestly, the population is going to start drifting to those places. You know, Detroit being a place. You know, a lot of people, I remember looking at Detroit personally maybe 10 years ago, and there were properties, storefronts that had units above them for $5,000.
That's nothing.
Right. Now you can't get that for under $150,000. But then even comparing that to a California price, you might be able to get that for $150,000. You know, so really finding out where your money is going to go long term, where it's going to stretch, and how it's going to work for you long term is what's really going to create your wealth as you get older. And the younger you start, the better.
No, okay. So look, that's super dope, especially coming from you being a black man. I got a question. I actually got two. So first of all, did anyone hand you down some generational wealth? Number two being, what is it specifically, like, do you plan on, or do you have an idea of giving to your kids? Like, because the only thing like that most people would think of, oh yeah, just hand them the business, hand them the barbershop. What is it?
No, so like Chico and I, we had spoke prior to this. We had a really good conversation, and ultimately it's the knowledge first. Like, you have to know who you are to understand that if I hand you a property or two properties, if I leave you properties, then it's really not for you to sell and then that be the end of the generational wealth. If anything, you're to leverage those properties so that you can build more for the future generations. No, actually, I wasn't left any generational wealth. I'm actually, my parents had the opportunity to, but because of the way society had miseducated a lot of people in certain generations, then we sold. And so selling is actually, you know, the way to stop your money from growing.
Exactly.
A lot of people think selling is the be all end all what you want to get to, but a lot of times, especially with real estate, it kind of caps off what you can make. Yeah, you're selling it and you are making a little bit of a profit now, but that makes no difference towards what you could be making 3 years from now, 4 years from now.
Right. Correct. OPM,
leverage
other people's money. So you know,
my favorite type of money.
Yeah, other people's money. You once you let the bank lend you money and you're a qualified, certified, credited individual, then it's not about selling and putting that in the bank and flossing and buying toys with that. It's actually about learning to leverage that money even more and grow. That's how you build your catalog. That's how you build generational wealth. You know, I mean, ultimately, if you start buying properties at 20 years old, and even if from 20 to 30 you buy a property a year, then and you're on 30-year mortgages, then by 60 you'll be done paying those mortgages. Okay, that's 10 properties that at 60 you'll own free and clear. Okay, now the money, the revenue generated from those properties, if the average rent on those is $1,500 times 10, that's $15,000 a month of positive cash flow at 60. Whether your retirement was good or not, that's a good setup.
Yeah.
That's a good base for yourself. So really looking at those numbers and like saying, okay, from 20 to 30, I can retire myself at 60, no matter what. That's how we have to start looking at it. And that's what I want even my kids to understand. I want them to be able to explain that to their friends, you know, when purchasing, when you're going to the mall, on why I'm not buying all the expensive stuff.
He's spitting knowledge. This is straight knowledge.
Hey, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
Make your own clothes. Support your local artists. Support your local clothing brand. Like, in all honesty, all the brands, Gucci, all of them had to be local at some point in time anyway. And then the world supports them. Well, at the end of the day, once they get world support, you don't have to support them. Go find somebody who just needs local support. You're going to save a lot more money. You're going to actually be helping somebody who you'll be able to see get to that plateau.
Yeah, man. And I think that's a big part of generational wealth is not only developing and cultivating the ideas and like the actual property, but really taking what we have and being able to leverage it for the next generation.
Yes, sir.
You know? Really being able to take the knowledge we have and spread it so that we're not just throwing cash out, and really realizing how much influence we have. We made Gucci cool, man. Gucci, don't get me wrong, they were a top tier clothing service before they were cool, but yo, homie's going, yo, what's Gucci? That's what made it cool.
Over here at Canvas, this year, Gucci actually jacked Nicholas Mayfield.
What do you mean?
So Nicholas Mayfield is the artist that did all of the art here at Canvas. He also puts art on clothes. Okay, Gucci, this conglomerate, came and stole one of the jackets that he made, bought it actually from him, and then completely bit his jacket and put it out as their own.
Oof.
So this is what Gucci does to the local artists, that whether it was him and or the different design from a different artist in a different city, like this is what they're doing. So at the end of the day, support the creators, the actual tastemakers that are making the products first.
Yeah, man. As soon as we realize how big our voice is, I think it was Popeyes that really just showed it to me last. That was when they did that whole chicken sandwich thing. They said Black Twitter, on average, made them over $32 million worth of free advertisement.
Right.
$32 million worth of free advertisement just from people going on their phones and, hey, did you check out this? And granted, not everything is going to be a hit and insanely big as Popeye's chicken. That's like a once in a few years type deal.
Correct.
But once we realize and we're able to leverage our voice and how much we control, hip hop is the leading music genre in the world right now. I just saw a news article today where there's a Russian dude rapping about Vladimir Putin.
Right.
Like, yo, if that doesn't qualify for popular, I don't know what does, man. And as soon as we realize that we're the tastemakers, we're the people who set that, I don't think there's anything stopping us.
I agree. I think, and then also I think what's important, I want to make sure that we understand that these days, black and brown unification. You know, sometimes they try to separate the communities, but we're all one community and we all have the same struggle. We all come from the same households, and
yeah, man, they be trying to pit us against each other too, man.
So at the end of the day, it's actually about unifying and making that voice connect and then strengthen each other.
100%.
Very important. So just mindset changes.
That's 100% correct. And on that, I think we're going to wrap this episode up. It's been great talking to you, my guy.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Dope having you out here. Everybody come check it out. The Canvas Barbershop in Riverside, off of Magnolia and Tyler, is this?
Yeah, Magnolia and Tyler. We're about a block from the mall, west of the mall, between Tyler and La Sierra, 10571 Magnolia Avenue, Canvas Barbershop, 9 years running. The Mullet, every year.
Boom.
Look out for The Mullet, okay?
The Mullet.
We have branded The Mullet, okay?
You already know.
You thought we was doing it again? Exactly. Canvas.
Yeah, and actually, that's a little bonus we'll throw in for you guys. Keep tuned soon, because I'm getting rid of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you.
He donated it to Locks of Love.
Locks of Love. Oh, that's nuts. Locks of Love. If anybody does want to buy these crusty things off my head, I'll give them to you.
Yeah, we auction them off for the kids. You know what I mean?
I'm foul for head ass.
Yeah, you see them? They need to go. It's about time.